The hammer rises, then falls. Wood shudders. Iron bites through flesh. A sound like metal driven into a wet beam carries over the hill, short and hard, then disappears into the wind above Golgotha. Below the cross, dust clings to sweating ankles. A soldier shifts his grip. Another wipes his hand on his tunic. The smell is sharp now. Blood, leather, sun-baked earth, sour wine. Nearby, a woman does not step back. John stands close enough to hear each strained breath. And above all this, above the shouting, above the mockery, above the flies circling in the heat, heaven watches. Not with confusion, not with weakness, with silence. This is the moment many Christians rush past. We speak of the cross, we kiss the crucifix, we bow our heads during Holy Week, but we rarely stop and ask what creation itself witnessed when the Son of God was nailed before the world. What did the angels do when the Lord they adored from all eternity stood bound, struck, and lifted up between earth and sky? That question is not small, because if we dare to remain here, really remain here, we begin to see that the cross was not only a human execution, it was the hour when heaven learned to be still before the obedience of the Son. Most people think they understand the cross. They wear it around the neck, on the wall, small, polished, clean. They speak about it easily. Jesus died for our sins. The words come quickly, almost too quickly, as if repeating them is the same as entering them. But watch closely. When suffering enters their own life, real suffering, not the idea of it, something shifts, a diagnosis, a betrayal, a prayer that returns without an answer. Hands open at first, then slowly close. Shoulders tighten. Eyes search for control. Because deep down, many of us still believe something we never say out loud. If God is truly powerful, he should stop the pain. If he loves, he should intervene. If he is present, he should act. And when he does not, when the moment stretches, when the silence holds, we begin to feel the distance. Not always in words, sometimes just in posture. A prayer that shortens, a mass attended but not entered, a silence that becomes heavy. We look at the cross, but we do not stay there. We move too quickly to the resurrection, too quickly to victory, too quickly to answers. Because the cross, if we truly face it, confronts us with something we struggle to accept. God did not remove suffering, he entered it and remained. And that is where the misunderstanding begins. Not in what we say about the cross, but in what we expect God to do when we stand beneath it. A rope tightens, wrists pulled back, wood under the shoulders. He does not resist. A soldier leans in, adjusts the arm. Another lifts the hammer again, testing the weight in his grip. The crowd shifts, restless. Someone laughs, too loud, too sharp, then stops. No command comes. Not from the sky, not from the hill, not from anywhere. This is where belief begins to strain. Because we know the words. We have heard them since childhood. He could have called 12 legions of angels. The power was not absent. The authority was not lost. One word, just one, and everything would have ended. But he says nothing, and heaven answers with silence. That is the gap we do not know how to live in. We say we trust God. We say he is good. We say he is Lord. But when the moment comes, when the nails are raised in our own life, when something precious is being taken, when injustice stands in front of us and breathes, we expect interruption, intervention, a sign. Instead, sometimes there is only this, the hammer, the waiting, and no voice stopping it. So the question presses deeper now, not into theology, but into the heart. If God has the power to act and chooses not to, what is he doing? The answer does not begin on the hill. It begins long before the wood was cut, before the nails were forged, before the world itself took shape. In the beginning was the Word, and the Word was with God, and the Word was God. John 1:1. The one now bound to the cross is not a victim caught in history. He is the eternal Son, consubstantial with the Father, through whom all things were made. Creation itself came into being through him, and now creation stands beneath him, watching. This is not chaos. This is mission. The church has always spoken clearly. The cross was not an accident, not a failure, not a moment where evil overpowered good. It is the center of God's saving plan. The Catechism teaches that Jesus' death was part of the definite plan and foreknowledge of God. CCC 599. What unfolds on Calvary is not God losing control. It is God revealing his will. And his will is this: That sin would be defeated not by force but by obedience. Isaiah had already spoken it centuries before. He was pierced for our transgressions. Upon him was the chastisement that brought us peace. Isaiah 53:5. The cross is not only suffering, it is offering. Step by step, breath by breath, Christ does not merely endure pain, he gives himself, freely, deliberately, completely. No one takes my life from me, he had said, but I lay it down of my own accord. John 10:18. That is the truth the world could not see, and even the angels could not fully comprehend in that moment. The Father is not absent. The Father receives the offering of the Son, and the Son is not abandoned in the sense of being rejected. He enters into the full weight of human sin, carrying what separates humanity from God, so that humanity might be brought back. This is why the church calls the cross a sacrifice. Not symbolic, not poetic, real. The Lamb is offered, and heaven remains still, not because it is powerless, but because the will of God is being fulfilled with perfect obedience. This is the mystery at the heart of our faith. God does not save us by stepping in to stop the suffering. He saves us by stepping into it and transforming it from within. A man hangs on wood. That is what the eye sees. But the church asks us to look again. At every Mass, the priest does not say, "We remember a past event." He says, "This is my body. This is the chalice of my blood, poured out for you." The language is present, not distant, because what happened on Calvary is not locked in time. It is made present sacramentally. One sacrifice, one offering, eternally alive. The Catechism teaches that Christ's sacrifice is unique and yet made present in the Eucharist. CCC 1367. Not repeated, not replaced, made present. The same obedience, the same self-gift, the same love. So when we look at the cross, we are not looking at defeat. We are looking at an act of priesthood. Christ is both priest and victim. No temple stands on that hill. No altar built by human hands. And yet the true offering is taking place. The Son presents himself to the Father, not with words alone, but with his very body. This is why nothing interrupts the moment. Because if the suffering were removed, the offering would not be complete. If the nails were stopped, the gift would not be total. If the angels descended, obedience would be broken. And obedience, perfect, unwavering, faithful even unto death, is the very place where sin is undone. St. Paul writes it with clarity. By one man's disobedience, many were made sinners. So by one man's obedience, many will be made righteous. Romans 5:19. Adam reached out and took. Christ stretches out his hands and gives. That is the difference. And that is why heaven remains still. Not because God refuses to act, but because in this moment, God is acting in the deepest way possible, through a love that does not withdraw, does not defend itself, does not turn away. A love that goes all the way to the end. The sky dims, though it is still midday. Light fades into a strange gray, heavy, unmoving. The wind drops. Even the voices change, quieter now, uncertain. A soldier looks up, squints, then lowers his gaze again. The cross stands fixed, arms stretched, chest rising, then stopping, then rising again, shorter now. Each breath pulled upward against the nails, feet pressed down, wood creaks. The body lifts, just enough for air, then falls again. Close enough you can hear it. Not words at first, just breath. Mary does not move. Her hands remain open at her sides, fingers slightly bent, as if holding something that is no longer there. John leans forward once, then steadies himself. No one speaks to her. No one knows how. A soldier dips a sponge into a jar, vinegar, lifts it on a reed, holds it up. The man on the cross turns his head slightly, lips part. He tastes it, then nothing. Time stretches. Somewhere in the distance, a child begins to cry, then is quickly hushed. A man steps back from the crowd. Another crosses his arms tight across his chest as if bracing against something he cannot name. Above, nothing moves. No rush of wings, no sudden light, no voice breaking through the sky. Only this moment held, and yet something is happening that no eye can see. The weight carried here is not only wood, not only flesh. It is every fracture of the human heart, every turning away, every hidden wound, every sin laid upon one who does not turn away and return. He remains, not because he cannot leave, because he will not. And if you stay here long enough, if you do not look away, you begin to understand something not with the mind, but with the body itself. This is not distance. This is God drawing nearer than we have ever allowed him to be. The breath shortens again. He pushes up, feet trembling against iron, draws in air, then falls back. The body cannot keep this rhythm much longer. Blood has dried in dark lines along the wood. The sky above has gone heavy, almost black. And then he speaks, not loudly, not with force, but it carries. Father, forgive them. The words do not stop the soldiers. The hammer does not drop from their hands. The crowd does not fall to its knees. Everything continues, and yet everything changes. Because the one who is being torn apart does not turn inward. He does not curse. He does not withdraw. He gives. Even now, even here. A man beside him gasps out broken words, half confession, half plea. No strength left to argue, no time left to prove anything. Just a voice reaching across the space between two crosses. Remember me. Jesus turns his head, just enough. Today, you will be with me. Not later, not after proving yourself, today. The breath comes again, shallow now. One more lift. One more push against the nails. It is finished, not defeat. Completion. The offering is whole. Nothing held back, nothing unfinished. His head lowers, and in that moment, quiet, final, unmistakable, the author of life enters death. Not by force, by gift. And the world does not break apart. But something deeper does. The distance between God and man torn open. Not by power, by love that refused to step down. We do not stand on that hill with the soldiers, but we are not far from it. A phone lights up in the night. You read the message twice. Your hand tightens around it. No answer forms. Across the room, a chair sits empty. In the chapel, you kneel, but your shoulders stay raised as if bracing. You begin a prayer, then stop. Words feel thin. This is where the cross meets you. Not in theory, in posture. In the moment when you expect God to interrupt, and he does not. When you ask for relief and the weight remains. When you search for a sign and receive silence. Look again. On the hill, nothing moved to stop the nails. And yet everything was being done for you. So here now, do one small stubborn thing. Open your hands. Say it without decoration. Father, into your hands, and leave the rest unfinished if you must. Stay. Breathe. Let the moment hold. Do not rush to explanations. Do not flee to distractions. Bring what is real, your fear, your anger, your questions, and place it where his hands were fixed. Then carry it to the altar. At Mass, when the priest lifts the host, do not look past it. That same offering, complete, unbroken, is given to you. Come forward, receive. Not because you feel strong, but because you are being drawn in. And when someone wounds you, small or deep, practice the cross in a hidden way. Hold your response. Choose the harder word, mercy, not to excuse evil, but to refuse to become it. This is where the cross becomes yours, not as a symbol, as a way of living that trusts God is at work, even when he does not interrupt. Do not let this remain a thought. Stand up from where you are and choose one concrete step. Tonight, before anything else, kneel, even if only for a minute. No long prayer, no perfect words. Just this. Jesus, I trust you in what I do not understand. Say it once, slowly. Let it settle. Then go to the cross again, physically if you can. A church, a quiet chapel, even a crucifix on your wall. Do not pass it. Stop. Look. Stay longer than is comfortable. If you have been away from the sacraments, come back. Go to confession. Bring what you carry, without editing, without excuse. Let it be placed where it was already carried. And this Sunday, do not watch the Mass, enter it. When the priest lifts the host, do not think of it as distant. That same sacrifice, complete, living, is before you. When you come forward, receive with awareness. This is not routine. This is participation in what you have just seen. Finally, do not keep this to yourself. If this has moved something in you, write it, speak it, share it. Not to argue, but to invite. Someone else is standing under a cross they do not understand. And they need to know they are not alone. If this message helped you, support it, like, comment, subscribe. But more than that, live it. Because the cross is not asking for attention. It is asking for a response. The hill is quiet now. The wood still stands. The sky has begun to clear. Voices have faded into the distance. Only a few remain, close, unmoving. It would be easy to think it ended there. But it did not. Because what looked like silence was obedience. What looked like defeat was offering. What looked like the end was the beginning of everything. The cross does not demand that you understand it completely. It asks that you remain. Remain when there is no answer. Remain when God does not intervene the way you expect. Remain when love costs more than you plan. Because on that hill, God did not step away. He stayed. And if you dare to stay with him, even there, you will discover something the world cannot give and cannot take away. You are not abandoned. Not now, not there, not ever.